first rib, and then it gets tightened down. And you drop it on the ground. Good morning. It's been a few days. So I think I said in the last video that I had to order some parts for the gas line so we can continue on. So those finally came in later than expected. So we're ready to continue on, get our gas line finished up. We got to add a regulator here with our piping, and then we got to add some CSST, which is this yellow flexible tubing, to go down through the wall, and then put a stub out for our dryer connection. Then we got to do the same thing over at the stove, and then I just have a couple of valves to put out on the manifold that we built out there. I think there's 3 open spots. I'm just going to put valves on those so that if we ever need to add anything later, we just screw it right on with that valve. So first up, we're going to open up our regulator. So these are regulators that will handle 2 psi. So we're going to have a 2 psi system, and then these regulators take that 2 psi and then they bring it down to 7 to 11 inches water column. Whatever that is, I don't know. That's how they do gas. The reason we have to do the 2 psi system, I think I explained this before when we were putting this in, is our water heater is gas, and that needs to be 2 psi because of the length of the run. So it'll come, like, I think it's 10 psi off the tank to a regulator outside. That'll change down to 2 psi. That'll shoot the whole system 2 psi, and then to go to the dryer, it'll go down to 7 to 11 inches water column. And then that way our water heater can be 2 psi. So there's a little arrow on the regulator for the way the gas flows. And then I got some pieces here that I kind of mapped out so you can see how it goes, how it's going to go on there. And we want to make sure our arrow is going the correct way. Loose. That's fine. So then it'll sit like this. We're going to mount this thing. You can mount this thing in a few different ways. We're just going to mount it horizontal. And then from here, hopefully you guys can see that, we'll come down with our CSST, go through the wall. And unfortunately, the way it has to be, this gas line's a little too close to this wall. We'll have to go through a stud and then down, because otherwise we're going to hit our washer box. So I'll pull this off. I'm going to tape and glue the pipes together. We'll get to this far, and then I'll show you the CSST. All right, so we got that on. Next up, we got to do our CSST, which is the flexible tubing, and that stands for corrugated stainless steel tubing, CSST. And the fittings that we're using have 3 pieces. There's some that have 4 pieces. These ones are the ones I could find. They're from HomeFlex, and they have 3 pieces. So they have the double threaded end. They have the cap or the nut that goes, and that part goes over the pipe, and then they have a washer. So what you got to do is cut this back 3 ribs, and then you feed your nut on, and then your washer goes over the first rib, and then it gets tightened down. And you drop it on the ground. So then that gets clamped down. It's nice and tight on there, so that way your nut can't come off. And then we'll screw this piece in. Just want to make sure that there's no crud in any of the joints, same way we did before, because that'll mess up your gas line, or your gas and your valves and everything else. So I'm gonna blow air through once we test it. I'll blow air through every joint just to make sure we don't have anything in there. You guys probably can't see this, but I don't really have a ton of room up here, so I'm gonna tighten this down, and you guys will have to trust me that I'm doing it. All right, I got that on. I went down and did it. It's difficult to do it up here. So what I'm gonna do, it's probably not necessary because you could unscrew these separate, but I'm gonna put a union on here so that if we ever need to take off the CSST, we can. So that should hopefully make things slightly easier. So I'm going to take the union apart, and then we'll go ahead and screw this one on, which will go on fairly easy. And the other reason I'm using the union too is I could just turn this flex pipe, but it's going in down in the wall and then over, so it's pretty difficult to do, especially by yourself. On the other one, I may or may not add a union. We'll see once I get over there. All right, I'll get off this dang ladder. All right, well, we got everything done. So the line was run. You probably didn't see this part. We ran it down. I drilled this hole with a hole saw kind of at an angle so it slopes nice and easy. Left a little bit of a hump there and then came down, and we got it fastened. So I also got the stub out on. Let's see if you guys can see this. So I just use a 90 and then a small nipple and put a cap on it, because that'll get our dryer hose when the time comes. I also went ahead and put our valves on. So now the manifold has 6 valves. And one thing that we noticed, I hate when stores do that. Those 2 and that 1 were bought at one time, and that 1, and that 1 were bought at a different time. Same store, same brand, same price, and the knobs are different. And that's gonna bother me, but it's out in the garage. Maybe I'll switch them, maybe I won't. The little things that annoy you. I also went ahead and did the stove. So you can see up there, got our regulator to our black iron, and then it goes to the CSST. Down the wall, it's fastened, and it comes out with a nipple, a 90, and a cap on it. So the only thing left now, this is a fully sealed system, is to pressure test it. So since some of that joint compound is a little bit wet in some of those areas, I don't want to put air on it right now. I kind of want to let it dry. So once that stuff dries, when I took those caps off, they were pretty hard to take off. So I'll let it dry. I don't know if I'll be able to do it today. I don't know if it'll dry enough. It may be tomorrow. But you can see here, somebody asked about this in another video. I did put a downpipe with a cap for any water that comes into the system. It can collect in here. And then we got our valve, or our air gauge on there, so that we can put air to it. So like I said, once that dries, it's windy out here today. Once that dries, we go ahead and throw air on it and put pressure in the system. I was going to pressure test the plumbing, but I don't really feel like it. So I think what we have, our water pipe, I think what we're just going to go ahead and do is put water to the house and then put water to the lines, and then we can open up the knobs individually and get that done. But I will put pressure on the plumbing vents so you guys can see that. But while we were waiting for the thread compound to dry, I'm going to go ahead and add some of these. Those are not the studs. Some of the studs in the garage, a couple areas that we needed studs before we can do drywall. So we went and finally got those. So like here it says stud, there's nothing, this drywall on the inside of this wall, there's nothing to fasten it to. So I need to add a stud there. I think there's seven or 8 spots that need studs. So we'll get those measured and cut, and we can start putting those on. All right, so I got the first one cut. I just took my little laser measuring tape measure thing. I don't know, is that called the laser tape measure? I don't know what that's called. Anyway, I stuck it down on the bottom, shot it up, because it's a lot easier when doing that by yourself than using a tape measure. So I got 1/16 and 5/8. We'll go ahead and get this butted up next to that other wall, this back wall here, and then fasten it in just like we did with everything else. 3 fasteners. The beauty of post frame is you can add all this stuff afterwards, because you don't have to worry about any load bearing walls. I'm not going to be too crazy on checking it with a level, because there's no blocking or anything that's going to go on this wall. So she's good there. And then I can't add any in the middle, unfortunately. I don't think. I'll try. Yeah, that one works. So that'll just short up. So 1 down, 6 or 7 more to go. So this one here is going to be a little bit different. Let me get my measurement on it. Oops, that didn't work. 1/16 and 9/16. 1/16 and 9/16. Just under 5/8. You can see is a 2x6 and it spans both this side and this side over here. I don't really see a need to run two 2x4s. Again, it's solely for drywall to be screwed to, so. A lot of gas. Sure am. Par for the course. So yeah, I don't see any adverse effects of this. Just getting a little, this is only, what, 3 foot? That's going to attach here, and then this is even less, 6 inches. So that's that. I don't think I have any more over here. I do have on the other side, I got a couple doors that I forgot to do too, so I keep moving on. All right, well, it's been about 4 hours since I glued this up. I spent most of the last 4 hours mowing, since we have so much to mow. Probably three acres or so that I gotta mow. Anyway, this should be ready to pressure test now. So I'm gonna throw pressure on it and then leave it. It's about 7:15 or so, 7:30. So I'm not gonna do anything with it tonight. I just wanna throw pressure on it and see if it'll hold pressure overnight. Typically the rule of thumb is 20 PSI for 4 hours with no less than 2 PSI drop. I want no PSI drop. So, because I would think that anything would be a leak, and I don't want propane. So I'm gonna turn this on and get this up to, I might go 25, and then all the valves are closed. So then I'll just leave it overnight and we'll come back and check on it in the morning. Goes a lot quicker than the water lines or the plumbing line. All right, so there's 25 PSI, and it might drop a touch, which is normal. But I give it, I dropped it a little bit, but I'll give it a few minutes and then we'll read it, and then we'll leave it until tomorrow morning, and we'll see where we're at. And hopefully we're at the same pressure, and that'll be a success. All right, 24 PSI. That's what I'm gonna call it. It's not moving, so we'll see you guys in the morning, and hopefully we see 24 PSI. Good morning. So it was a little chilly last night, but it's not too bad this morning. Hold up, let me close this door. So I came out here this morning to check. It's been, what is it? It's like 8:30 now, so it's been 13 hours. And we had 0 PSI. So I have a sneaking suspicion that I know what it is that caused the issues. So this here, I don't know if you can see, where we put our gauge on is the only joint that does not have pipe dope and tape. If I had to guess, that's what's leaking. So I'm gonna put air back in it. I got some soapy water over there. We'll spray it with water. If that's leaking, I'll fix that before I test everything else, to see if that's what it is. So we'll hook the compressor back up, we'll put some air on it, and then we can test that joint. I don't feel anything coming out of there, but that doesn't mean that it's not leaking from there. It could just be a little bit, but it's enough to drain it over a certain amount of time. So this is just some water and some dish soap. Oh yeah. So it's got the bubbles coming up when you spray it. So it's leaking from there, I guess. And then when you spray these joints, it's just the bubbles from, but see, this one is growing versus these ones are not. So that one's got air coming out of it. What I thought, so I'll drain this. I'll go get the pipe wrench and we'll take this off, we'll dry it off, and then we'll put our tape and thread compound, and then I'll let it sit probably 2 hours, and then we come back out and we'll test it, and then see if that's it. Cleaned off now. All right, now we'll let it sit for, what did I say, 2 hours? It's 8:49 right now, so I'll see you guys at 10:49. All right, I missed it. It's 11 o'clock, but that's fine. A little bit extra time won't hurt. So we're gonna go ahead and test this. And like I said, I think it's just this joint, but we'll put air on it and we shall find out. All right, we're at 20 PSI. I don't see anything here now. And go up to 21 so I can take this off. Now I'm seeing 20 and a half, maybe just under 20 and a half pounds. So we will leave it. Now we wait again another 4 hours. This end of this video is a lot of waiting. So like I said, we'll leave it. We'll see if it goes down at all. And then if it does, we'll have to go check all the other joints. If it doesn't, then we know we're good. And we can call this one a success. All right, let's go check it. It's been 3 hours. I couldn't make it till 4 because I'm impatient and the suspense is killing me. So I left all my stuff out there in hopes that that's a good thing. I'll have to pick it up later. Look at that, 21. It didn't move at all. That's awesome. So it's lovely when things go as planned and things actually work out, because most things we've been doing don't seem to work out, and I have to do it 2 or 3 times. I guess that one I had to do twice with the whole tape and thread compound, but we're good on the gas line, so there's no leaks. I'll check it again in another couple hours, but it's not leaking at all. I'll probably still go through and spray all the joints, but I'm not going to do that right now. So anyway, success in the gas line. Once we get water, we can hook that up and check our water lines. But with that said, that's where we'll leave this video. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you on the next video.